If you're able to go out, meet and build relationships, especially if you're selling B2B.
It's very hard for small business to understand exactly. I believe the personal contact has to remain. Retreats, experiences have to remain. Day events, really, really important. You know, letting AI manage your operations a little bit is crucial, but managing the growth, the branding and the image has to come from a human.
When I see stuff on LinkedIn and I see a stock picture, I don't look further. If I see something that looks like it's been AI generated, I don't even bother to look on it because it's not authentic.
AI is a tool that you can use to really compete against bigger companies and get your market share and be successful, but don't let it take over your business. But it should be a strong part of your business as well now, because if it isn't, I'm afraid you're like 95% of British companies at the moment that are going to become relics within the next 18 months.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I'm a big fan of Ollie and his gang. And one of my passions, I've got many passions, is really helping people. So today I've prepared a presentation so you can actually see what I'm talking to. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so let's do that. So amazing. Right, I'm hoping everybody can see my presentation. Yeah? Cool. All right, well, let me introduce myself. So my name's Daphne DiLuce, and my business is House of DiLuce, and it's a complete creative build for business, brand and space. And I love to get people to step into this exciting world of business build, brand and creating spaces for them to do extremely well in. So today, what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be make your brilliance visible. And this is all about you guys. It's about, don't be louder. Don't do things too often, but be more like you. And this is like so important now in the world of AI, because what's happening is there's a real influx of AI images on the market. There are business owners and creators and entrepreneurs that are using all these fantastic business models and AI models, and so they should, but it's getting a little bit blurry. So today I just want to bring some practicalities back to business build to help you all focus even more so. Right, so let's start with where does it all start and why does anybody want to use AI? Why does anybody use branding? And I just want to get back to really something very practical but so important for your business. So the thing is, the way that I actually work with brands and helping businesses, it's never just brand or brand build or brand strategy. It always starts with, well, I always start with the financial modelling, because the thing is, that's where the most stress is usually for people. Cash flow, having enough money to do things, and being able to charge a good price, but being able to give value. So today, everything I'm talking about, it has this underneath it. So we've got brand strategy, and a lot of people talk about brand, and there are probably a million versions of what people think about branding and what it is. But let's just take this part of branding today. So let's look at brand strategy. That's your vision, your positioning, your messaging. And then let's go to brand identity. And brand identity is your visual identity, your voice, the experience. But brand identity, that's where we can make stuff to show up online. So that's where we can use AI to help us do that, but we should not be using AI for our business models and our own uniqueness that we bring into our business build. All right? So what's the story about with the business modeling? It's the story tells is know who you are, show who you are, make money, build the business, own your audience. And we're going to talk about LinkedIn today, and we're going to talk about branding and AI. But I'd just like to say your LinkedIn profile isn't your brand. It's simply the doorway into your brand ecosystem. Branding ties directly to business growth, and it's business growth that I'm interested in always. So I think this is one of my favourite models that I build for people and work with. Is actually, where are you? Are you starting? Are you growing? Are you right at the top where the flag is? Where are you? But there's always a start, a build, a traction, a scale and a growth. But this is like so important that you actually have your base business models and, well, my first diagram, everything first of all in play before you even start building up your brand. So let's all have a little think. Where are you today? Are you beginning? Are you doing quite well? But this presentation today is all about getting you to think about how you're going to grow, how you're going to build, how you're going to sustain your business in the moment with AI in this changing world. And I'm very passionate about that. So, next thing, branding for your LinkedIn profile. It's about making your brilliance visible. Yeah, so let's talk about the biggest mistakes that people are making on LinkedIn. So this is a typical thing. Where's the pain? Where's the problem? So the first thing, sounding like AI instead of sounding like themselves. People are publishing perfectly written, completely forgettable content. Everything is polished, but nothing feels personal. No stories, no opinions, no experience, no personalities. Readers forget who wrote it in 5 seconds later. And I'm sure if you kind of think about what have you read lately, have you remembered it? Was it interesting? Did it cause like some kind of emotional reaction, or was the story so wonderful it really captured your imagination? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, I just want to remind you that AI can write words, but it cannot replace lived experience. The second problem, chasing visibility instead of building recognition. And also, it's not only building recognition, it's actually your business build and actually what's behind your branding, behind your voice, behind your messaging. Because, guys, it's all about making sure that your business can flourish. So you need many things happening at once. Anyway, getting back to LinkedIn, posting every day, following trends, gaming the algorithm. Being seen isn't the same as being remembered. Brands grow because they become recognizable, not because they publish the most content. Recognition beats reach, always. Right, now let's get into a little bit of neuroscience, one of my favourite topics. Branding is actually all to do with how you can talk to people's brains. And the thing is, it's what gets through in your brain, what gets through in your mind, what captures your imagination, what sticks. And the thing is, the brain is a fascinating thing, and it's a very real thing. And it's often overlooked. People are so enthusiastic to build their businesses or get online or be looking on LinkedIn for opportunities or going on LinkedIn to broadcast opportunities, whatever it is, but they totally forget what's going on in their human body and what's going on in other people's human bodies. So when I start creating any branding work for people or myself, I start with, well, what's going on in people's minds? So the thing is, then we mustn't forget that we're mind, body, heart and soul. And the thing is, how we are functioning, a lot of people don't realise that when they're working, that are they in their reptilian mind or the monkey mind, or are they in their higher mind? And there is a switch, and it definitely does exist. Many people are actually working from their reptilian brain, and that is something that we have to take care of. We have to take care of ourselves and other people's brains. So the thing is, this is why looking at what AI is doing these days is really important, because it's important to protect your brain and protect your brand. And I'm going to unpack this. So I've taken a few images at the top, and I was thinking, well, who do we all know? Perhaps we all know David Bowie, perhaps some of us don't. I think most of us will probably do. But if we look here, I found a picture of him, an original picture, where he looks himself. It's a good piece of photography, but it could also, it's quite arty, so people could say, is that AI? Is it not AI? It's definitely an original piece, it's not AI. Then I created an AI generated picture of David. And then somebody could look at that in their brain and say, oh, that's a man and a businessman. But if you look at that, David doesn't have any soul. That's why I've taken David Bowie, because he was a great artist, great musician, somebody with huge personality. And in our minds, I'm sure, if you do know about David Bowie, his brand exists. So then we could look at that AI image and say, wow, that isn't showing me who this man is. And this is typically what AI does on the imaging. It strips out the soul, it strips out the humanness, but it does put in it puts in perfection. But perfection isn't always what connects with humans. Okay, so this is really important, that everything that you're doing in your brand, the question should be, are your customers going to love this? Are your customers going to connect with you? And are you going to be memorable? So personally, I prefer the original, not the stiff David Bowie. And I'm sure if he was here today, he looked at that AI photo, he'd probably think it was awful. Anyway, but maybe some people think it's good. But the point is, the human brain is such a fantastic machine in itself. We're better than AI, and we mustn't forget it. But I'm not against AI. AI is powerful and used in the right place. Then that's what we're talking about today. Now in the centre, the senior marketing manager at this company, I've blotted out her name. Now this is also about imaging and how the brain is going to look at something and convert it very quick. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it true? Can I trust it? This lady is in marketing. Well, how can a marketer not have an image, not have any graphics? I wouldn't trust it, okay? The brain, and my brain is telling me that, not my instincts are telling me that quickly. This is how conversions and sales work really good, because it's about creating trust. And when you put your work out in a nanosecond, people get it, whether they like it, they don't like it, they trust it, they don't trust it. And now what's happening online, there's a huge divide coming where people are very confused because they don't know what's real and they don't know what's made up. They don't know if it's AI, they don't know if it's a scam. This is why it's really important. Anyway, my last two little images, Chris Do, he's quite a famous brand guy. I really like him. He's very and he's created himself as an AI image. But then if we take one of Chris's natural photography image, look at him, he's got his dimples, a lovely smile, he's connecting with you with his eyes, there's some kind of warmth and connectability. So what I'm inviting you all to do is just take a little time just to let this sink in, and when you are looking at AI or creating AI, ask yourself some good questions, and never lose that human contact. And actually in the future, that's where successful businesses will be. They'll be in human-centered businesses and human to human. AI we can use to direct, to make processes work very well, and that is the difference here today. Right, so 3 things only a human business owner can do. Number one, create meaning. AI can generate information. Only people create purpose, vision, emotion, and belief. People don't follow information. They follow conviction. The next thing, build trust through real experience. Tell people about your failures, your wins, your stories, your clients, your journey. AI has no scars, so it's not going to connect with people. Trust from experience, not prompts. Build a world people want to belong to. The strongest brands no longer sell products, they create a philosophy. Actually, creating a philosophy or your own intellectual property is actually where the money is for the future. I can tell you more about that in a one-to-one or another time. Anyway, look at LinkedIn itself. It isn't just a platform for a job listing. It's sold as a belief that your career is a story worth telling in the public. People don't log on to post a resume. They log on to be a part of a community that's respected and does great stuff. Now the last little bit is to protect your business and your brand. Losing your own identity to sameness. Nothing replaces your own identity. Your presence, your pitch, your struggles, your innovation. Original artwork, real photography, you in real places doing real things. It hits the brain differently, as I showed you earlier on the other slide. AI generated images over time. People feel the difference. And AI is flooding the market right now, and much of it is doing more harm than good. It's a false sense of power, same tools, same prompts, same results. People aren't empowering themselves, they're deleting themselves without realising it. Anyway, in my life, in my world, I do very much a ecosystem of many things. And a little bit about my past. I created my first brand at 17 unknowingly. It was a jewellery shop in Marisine in Cornwall. It still exists today. It's still thriving, and that's an incredible story in itself. Also, image and storytelling has been a big part of my life, working on film and media and brand. Film and commercial creativity is actually can tell a story, which I'm going to show you a little mini film before I go to the Q&A. It can tell you so much in just less than a minute. Another thing I do is I design spaces. I've done interior fit outs right through Europe of all sorts of commercial buildings, and successfully so. And the whole thing is about completing the whole vision. Branding is more than we originally just think about. Right, one quick little thing. I'm going to finish off on my quick little film. I'm going to play this 1 minute film and then over to Q&A. Yeah, please ask questions. I love questions. Don't be shy. Anything from little to huge.
Thank you, Daphne, for your insights. My question to you is, you mentioned about storytelling and the importance of it, which I'm an advocate for it as well. My question to you is, with the use of AI, what's your views on using AI to support your storytelling? Let it be visually rather than actually crafting the story. Because the reason why I'm asking is because when I make a LinkedIn post, I like to tell a story, and I type the way I speak, which, my brother says I should stop doing that, right? But I believe it gives a certain level of authenticity and a certain level of, life experience to that post. So my question to you is the use of AI visually to support the written content. Would you say that's good practice, or would you say AI should be used to polish the text around it before posting? So it's like a two-part, three-part question.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, that's a really good question, and that's a good question for everyone. I think it starts with just let's take a few steps back before we get into storytelling online. And let's just, before we do that, is our brand and our business, have we actually designed our brand identity? And is our packaging going to show up congruently through your storytelling? So this question that you're asking, Chris, is really important, because this is where I see a lot of things that people make that weakens them, because then their story style and their packaging isn't congruent. Yeah. So I think it's a good idea to literally, and there's so many fantastic tools. I mean, even like just PowerPoint, you can dump ideas. And I think PowerPoint's a great tool to actually plot out your storyboard first, and then maybe plot out 2 or 3 stories, different stories, and then make those stories link. So when you put out one piece of content, then the next piece of content, your audience is saying, oh, that was really great what Chris does. Oh, now he's doing even better and doing even better. But when there's that through line of connection of the story, then it's going to help your brain and help you start becoming a storyteller, because storytelling is a craft and it takes time. Don't be perfect, anyone. Go and do it. Play with AI. Build the things. But the thing is, you always be kind to your audience, because you don't want to be making noise. You want to be giving value.
In my career, obviously, I am a storyteller, a best-selling author now, and successful in multitude of businesses. But for me, AI it's a really important tool. There's an awful lot of AI out there, and every week there's a new app and a new thing coming out. So I moved out of that sector, as many as you know, and I'm pleased I did, because now it is swamped, and it is very difficult for even me as a business to identify what AI to use. So I work with just 2 AI platforms, and I teach those platforms exactly what I want them to do, and in my voice, in exactly the storytelling that I'm doing, that I want it to do. Now, nothing gets posted automatically without my approval, without my review, and without looking through it. So I think storytelling is a good thing. But the one thing about AI where you can really use it effectively, from my perspective, is that you can sit back and you can let AI identify things in your marketplace that you maybe as a human are missing. And that's very, very important. You can see opportunities that are wrong, that you would miss if you don't use the AI in the correct manner. And I think what's happening now is that we're in a world where AI, and in the next 24 months, AI is going to be so all over everything that people are going to lose a lot of identity here. And I think what Daphne is really talking about is trying to keep your identity as a business and as a brand, and not sitting back and letting AI run the whole of your business, because at the end of the day, it'll be AI competing against AI. But we are getting very close to a point where AI is going to be dictating a lot of things. But as a small business, you have an advantage over a big company in that you can fiddle and you can change different things and change your story accordingly. And with that personal aspect, put it in. So I personally think AI is a tool that you can use to really compete against bigger companies and get your market share and be successful with it. But don't let it take over your business. But it should be a strong, and I emphasize this, it should be a strong part of your business as well now. Because if it isn't, then I'm afraid you'll be like 95% of British companies at the moment that are going to become relics within the next 18 months. The whole business plan is going to be a relic because of the speed and the capacity of the other companies coming forward. Does that help a little bit? Probably not.
Yeah, what I want to add to it, it is very important what Wesley's saying, and what you're doing, Wesley, you're an author now, and that's really strong because you're actually coming forward with your brand identity. But we mustn't lose focus here on the talk I'm giving, because the thing is, it's not about how to use AI. I can come back and give another talk about how to use AI powerfully, how to prompt, how to direct through your business through AI to get certain things. That's a completely different strategy. But the thing is, a lot of people talk about brand, they don't understand the power of branding, and they're not understanding the power of visuals. So that's why I started off with the business model. And this is a great thing, because now I love this conversation, because Chris is putting his hand up and asking storytelling. And then we've got Wesley, great storyteller, proved it, done it, he's out there. And then we've got AI scrambling everything. So the thing is, I think it goes back to actually having your original business model, your brand, your plan. But the thing is, I would just encourage everybody to be unapologetically bold, brave, playful out, and spend some time, working on what you actually are going to be giving out to the world, because now the world is ready for those really authentic people who've really got something great to give, and AI can speed up our voice. And AI is a great researcher, and as Wesley says, you can run ideas through AI and find the weaknesses. You can actually go find different niches and things like that. But it's all a very juicy topic, and I'm really enjoying everyone being here.
Thanks, Wesley. Thanks, Daphne. Chris and I were talking about this yesterday, weren't we, Chris? Saying that the winners, I feel, are the ones who are able to allow our AI to get on with it and take up a lot of the mundane tasks and stuff like that. But if you're able to go out and network effectively, meet and build relationships, especially if you're selling B2B, that is the winning ingredient. I think that is the ability. Those who come to our event last week, the ones in the room who were working the room, and they've come away with like 10 to 15 new business relationships, potential investors or whatever. They're the ones who are going to win. And I think I agree completely with what Daphne is saying about building relationships and all of that. I personally, when I see stuff on LinkedIn and I see a stock picture, I don't look further. If I see something that looks like it's been AI generated, isn't true, it looks like it's just been airbrushed from a magazine, I don't even bother to look on, because it's not authentic. It's not a true story. I'm not going to spend 5 minutes reading the text if I feel it's just like airbrush crap. And I think that's really important. So I think what we try to do is use real images, real photos, and I think that's going to become even more important as we go into this AI revolution. Wesley.
Yeah, just very quickly on that, Ollie, it's actually relevant for what we're doing and our partnership between yourself and ourselves as well as companies. Yeah. But I think we've gone through a very interesting 6 years, 7 years here. We entered into a pandemic that changed rapidly the way that business branding and business people were interacting with each other. So we had a situation where we suddenly were all on Zoom, and Zoom technology and Teams and everything took over. And that personal connection was lost for a couple of years, effectively, maybe longer. I mean, for me, it was at least 3 years before I actually decided to go to anything. And then what I don't know, and I think the majority of people don't go to these large conferences anymore. And this is where the work that you and I have been doing, Ollie, as well, where retreats and experiences and events like the one in London become really important. They're small, they're really personal, and you get that interaction, which helps build your brand, I think, far stronger. I mean, I came away from that London meeting with 4 people that I met and got on well with, and I thought, okay, this is good. Plus, I met other people that I already know, which was nice. But the 4 contacts were new contacts for me, and I wouldn't have got them if I had gone to a big conference, and I wouldn't have got them if I was just on a Zoom call. So I think from that perspective, that is how how the world is changing, and AI has to play a part in that, but in a different type of way. So I kind of agree with what Daphne's saying in a lot about the branding aspects of it, and it is really muddy water here, and it's very hard for small business to understand exactly. I believe the personal contact has to remain, retreats, experiences have to remain. Day events really important, and I think letting AI manage your operations a little bit is crucial, but managing the growth, the branding, and the image has to come from a human. It's because otherwise it's all you can see an AI image a mile off. Well, I can anyway. So
I think you're absolutely spot on, Wesley, and I think as well where we're at the moment and going forward, maybe the next 12 months, 18 months. AI is going to give a massive competitive advantage to SME businesses. We're unable to compete with Google ads and Google searches with the big FTSE, titans of this world. But I think used right and harnessed correctly, we have got, and it's not going to last forever, we've got a window of opportunity there that's going to allow us to compete and compete on a fair basis. But I'll go back to what Chris and I were discussing yesterday. If you've got a lot of the mundane stuff being undertaken now by AI, a lot of the stuff that takes up a lot of time and admin and bureaucracy and all that, and you get everyone in your organization, client facing, out there. We've got six events this month. What are we going to do about it? I want 2 of you at each event. And this is the target. I want you to come away with 10 leads each. Wow. Instead of just doing permits or doing standard emails to people, we're out finding business. That is how you're going to grow. That is how you're going to compete with the FTSE 100, 250 companies. And what a position we're in at the moment. What a position.
Exactly.
Wonderful place to be.
But there's something else about that, and this is crucial, is that a lot of the AI jobs that are being lost, everyone thought it was going to be the bottom of the barrel. The entry level jobs. Some of those entry level jobs are, but it's mostly middle management. And this is where we're going to have a problem with the SME, at Ollie. And it's going to be really interesting to see how it works, because does the SME get rid of the few middle management jobs that you probably need to go to these events, or because you won't want to send your junior to one of these events. It's got to be someone senior, middle, or senior who goes to this. And this is going to be the crucial. I'm intrigued to see what happens in the next 18 months. I really am.
No, I absolutely agree with that. But I would send the junior and the middle management, and where they're just sitting in an office, being allowed to do politics, internal politics, what I call business oppression. They're out at the coalface now doing stuff, being productive.
Yeah,
there's no excuse. They can't.
We've flatlined our company, so there's not a pyramid in our company now. We've flatlined. Everyone has their own thoughts. Everyone has their own things. Everyone contributes, and I think that's that way. I'm trying to even it out. I'm trying to sort of pre-program Pure One now to be a thinking company, as opposed to one that's following orders all the way down. We have our structure, but it's flat. It's flat. The table now is flat. There's no pyramid in retrospect. Obviously, I have to take the crap if it falls down, and people like you will moan at me for not doing my job right because you sit on my ball. But at the end of the day, the reality is that I've tried to flatline it as much as I can, so everyone has their own input, and an important input.
Thanks, Wesley. I'm going to hand over to Julian. Julian, you've got a question for Daphne, and I think Chris, you had your hand up as well. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks very much, and thanks, Daphne, for some great ideas. I just wanted to sort of come back to a bit of strategy to ask you. I mean, about the mindsets that you spoke of, the reptilian, the monkey, the human. As I found that interesting to perhaps ask a bit more about in terms of what you're looking for in creating this sort of identity and engagement with people.
That's I know where you're coming from. Well, you've opened up Pandora's box now in my mind. I'm actually writing a book called Who Stole Your Thinking? Well, there's 2 books that are coming. One is called Seen, another one is called Who Stole Your Thinking? The thing is, our minds are our superpower right now. And this is why we really have to look after them. We have to look after, not just as in mental health in a changing world, we have to, I do believe that we have to, it's an invitation to understand the difference between how your brain works. And the thing is, it just like when you're looking at some people in stress, or they've had some kind of like trauma, then the thing is, their brain can go in fight, flight and freeze, but this is all human brains. And if we all tapped into that, we're all going to find times that we were very stressed, or something that shut us down, or something that makes us want to run or respond. And the thing is, this is like a huge important subject. Now, to simplify it right now for everybody, when you have an opinion to something, literally go and get a glass of water, take a couple of breaths or a cup of tea or whatever you like to drink, and just think about, what do I feel about that, and where is my thinking, and go to a higher, calmer place. And actually that higher, calmer place, is actually where I do my best work, and where humans will do their best work, because then they're in a place, it's called flow state. And when you're in flow state, and I'm wondering whether I'm sure Wesley gets into his flow state when he's writing, not when he's, leading a company, but like in flow state. So this is like, I invite everybody just to, go and do more research on that, because it's really important. And this is also where you can actually get ahead of the curve with what's going to happen right now with AI. Because those human minds that have stability and strength, and that can create from a higher mind, not reactive, are going to be much more stable, much stronger. Does that make sense? Can't hear you. You switched yourself off. Unmute, please. There we go.
Just, I've noticed often that when you think you've said something, people might not recognize what you pretty sure you said, and getting the message to be received using these understandings, I thought is a very interesting thing, which I don't think AI is going to be particularly helpful with, because it comes up with a sort of, it's scramble. I think your expression of scrambling your thoughts is what I've seen you do a lot. Sort of means that you've got
Exactly. That's why, like, with my presentation, I tried to make it like really simple so people can just, be more aware. It's not telling anybody what to do or what to think. It's actually, I'm saying, protect your thinking, but it's now humans where we are being forced to go deeper into ourselves and figure out how we work, because how we work as humans, we have a superpower. Anyway, thank you for your question. We could talk about it for a long time.
Thank you.
I'd like to come back to what Ollie and Wesley were talking about networking. And the thing is, whether to send out somebody in C-suite, or whether junior can go networking. This is where branding and brand assets and AI can be super powerful, because you can send your representatives out to conferences and meetings, but when you have your brand assets ready to send out to people who have just been met, this is where you can gain a great advantage. And there's so many wonderful ways to do that. Anyway, you sound like a creative, wonderful bunch. Ollie knows I'm a big fan of everybody here. So, Ollie, is there any more questions?
I think Wesley's got his hand up.
Oh, Wesley. Hi, Wesley.
Yeah, hi. Just something, Daphne, just carrying on from what you just said there, was something very interesting. Well, in my career, I was with Thompson Holidays back in the 80s and early 90s. And anyway, one of the things Dan Pratt wanted me to do was, and one of the things I wanted to do was basically collect a lot of the old travel industry history, because it's all been lost, and the tour operating history. And luckily, I've managed to get hold of one of my former director's PAs, and she still had this massive record of material that's sent to me, so we can build like a museum in the entrance of our offices in the future. That's the basis of what we're trying to do here. But my point is that in there, I found a manual for 1972, right, for overseas representatives and the general staff in the UK. And the interesting thing about that, and this has come back to that branding and the juniors going, it literally tells every member of the team, no matter how junior they were, what they have to say, what they need to look for the company, the stuff they look for in the news that they've got to keep an eye on, and everything. And it literally, when you said what you said, it just sparked that memory for me, because it only arrived yesterday and I was reading it and I was in shock that the attention to detail then by this massive corporation was really fundamentally what you're saying. And literally that still applies today, despite the fact of all the technology we have. So that's all I wanted to add, just a little bit of a story there.
Yes, well, I love what you're saying.
Which is more Pink Floyd than David Bowie.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Well, dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was saying, Wesley, yes, I love what you're saying. And I just want to remind everybody how fantastic and wonderful you all are as a human, and play full out, and also be brave, be outrageous, and dare to pick up the mic and speak louder. Get your storytelling down. Don't try to be perfect, and go for it. Also, I'm always available for a quick chat if anybody wants to talk something through or have a little chat. I'm around, as as Ollie knows, I'm supportive of what he's doing. So if I can help people, yeah.
Well, I want to say a big thank you, Daphne, and we know we love your material, and you're welcome back any time. It's really great having you on. I look forward to your talks. And in the next few days, you're going to get a lot of love and big ups and respect on LinkedIn. So get ready for that. It's going to be huge from our community, and there's going to be a lot of comments and stuff. So we'll have to get your next talk booked, because it's come along at a critical point. I feel this is coming up more and more in startup to stand-up calls, surgeries, and individual calls I'm having with members. So this is a crucial area, and I would love to get you back and do some more of this, please.
When computers first came out back in the day, I was very active on them. I was one of the first people who learned computer-aided design, because I'm a design and builder as well. So I do all my own drawings, I do my editing, like I'm very techie, okay? So the thing is, and I've been involved in AI since early days. Yeah, so I can come up with talks in the future to, also help people understand how to prompt, why to prompt, what different things build different things. Well, I'm an oracle of so much of creativity. So I think what would help me is if you tell me what the next talk you'd like, and then I can make that happen.
We'll get that done for you. All right.
Fantastic. Well, love to everyone. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your questions, and see you soon. Bye.
Thanks all. Have a great weekend.